Good morning, everyone. Raymond Mhor, Kilty Prepper. How's everybody doing out there? This is Coffee with Ray. Still here in the California Redwoods, hanging out with my brother and everything. And we didn't get to see him yesterday at all. So he was not doing good, and he was basically in bed all day. So we just kind of headed down into the valley and went and checked out some old stomping grounds and everything like that. But important news. Uh, Today's topic or today's title is, Will China Dump 800 billion in treasury bills? And this is a big deal. And two things. One, the BRICS meeting is over, done with. They've admitted some more countries into the BRICS alliance. Namely, I remember it's Argentina, Egypt, Saudi Arabia, United Arab Emirates, Iran, and then there was an Ethiopia. And so I know that those were admitted in and everything. But the interesting fact is that now with the BRICS alliance, they control about 60% of the world's oil. And so that is a very interesting situation in and of itself. But the other big thing that came out of the BRICS meeting was the affirmation that they want to de-dollarize. And so this is a biggie. And we've been seeing this take place already, folks. So BRICS has not been holding back at all that they want to de-dollarize. And in fact, the biggest issue is that there are a number of speculators out there, the financial guys out there on Wall Street, that they believe China is positioning itself to dump $800 billion of treasury bills and just get rid of them. They currently hold right now $829 billion in T-bills. They are number 2 in holding of U.S. debt. Number 1 is China. Number 3 is the U.K. And so it is strongly speculated that they are going to possibly dump $800 billion in T-bills. And why they say this is because China has been on a spending spree of buying gold like crazy. They now have, at least official numbers, are 6,829 tons of gold on hand. Now, a couple speculators on Wall Street have actually run some numbers, and they actually think that they are sitting above 8,000 tons, which is a boatload of gold. Currently, the U.S. is the number 1 holder of gold, and we are sitting around 8,000 tons as well. Now, the interesting thing is that we have never been audited, or I shouldn't say, the Federal Reserve, who is holding all this gold, has never been audited. And a number of countries are wanting to repatriate their gold, meaning, give me my gold back so I can take it home. And the Federal Reserve has been saying no. And so that, and then also a number of folks in Congress has been calling for an audit of the gold. And again, the Federal Reserve is saying no. So it's beginning to really cause doubt. Does America truly have 8,000 tons of gold sitting in reserve, or has it kind of just disappeared and everything? Hey, Holly, how you doing? Everything's going well here, visiting with my brother. And yesterday we weren't able to see him because he was just down and out and basically stayed in bed all day. But the big deal, again, is, does America truly have 8,000 tons of gold or not? Because it's believed that we have the largest amount of gold out of all the countries in the world. But again, China has 6,829 tons. There are a few financial pundits on Wall Street who are really speculating, just running the numbers and looking at the books and everything, that they believe China actually has over 3,000 tons of gold. So if China has all this gold and everything, they are speculating that China is positioning itself to basically de-dollarize and dump $800 billion of T-bills back on the market. Now, the thing is anytime anybody sells T-bills, the Federal Reserve is obligated to buy those T-bills back. And so what does that mean? It means if China is going to dump $800 billion worth of T-bills, the Fed Reserve has to buy those back. That's a bunch of dollars coming back into the U.S., thus flooding our economy with dollars. And whenever you flood the economy with dollars, inflation goes up, meaning that your buying power is greatly reduced. And so the other thing that nobody's really talking about is when you see one person selling off a whole boatload of stuff, everybody else gets kind of freaked out and everything. They go, oh my gosh, if China's dumping them, maybe we need to dump them too. So there is the possibility that we could be looking at a serious cascading effect where the Federal Reserve will be obligated to buy back a bunch of treasury notes and again, flood our country with dollars, thus creating a basically in a form of hyperinflation. And so America is, or the current administration is doing everything they can to, make China not sell those off and everything. And in fact, there's been some speculation that we may even use military might to cause China not to sell. It's like, hey man, don't sell my bills or otherwise they're going to hold a gun to your head. So this is not a good thing, but it falls right in line with what the whole BRICS meeting was about and everything. And they are really pushing for a de-dollarization. And so the big holder being China, dumping theirs. Saudi Arabia has already been starting to dump. I think United Arab Emirates has started to dump. And so we're seeing more. I know Brazil has started to dump. And then Argentina too, which these countries are all part of the BRICS alliance now. And so we're starting to see a process or a movement of dropping or dumping U.S. debt. And again, this is not good for the U.S. economy. It would cause a flood of dollars to come right back into our system and cause hyperinflation, because the cascading effect would take place and it would seriously impact our economy in a big way. And so what does that mean for you and I? What it means for you and I is that what I would do, and I've been kind of preaching this here for a while, is get tangible things you need now. And as much as I hate to say this, I really do. Folks, put it on your credit card and get the stuff you need. So if you need that dehydrator, you need that grain mill, you need that solar generator, or you need some of these things, you may consider strongly in purchasing now, because if and when this does happen, then we're going to be looking at escalating prices just flying through the roof. So what you could have bought for $200 today might cost you $1,000 tomorrow. And so I strongly suggest you really look through your pantry, you look through your preps and your equipment and everything, and really, assess what things do you need or what has been on your bucket list that you needed to purchase and everything. Because if China does dump it, and they are in the position to do so because they are sitting on a boatload of gold, they can dump the T-bills, and that would really basically screw the U.S. in a big way. And I hate saying that term, but that is what would happen. And all that money would be coming flooding back, as well as the repercussions of that. Other countries would follow suit, and we would see massive inflation take place. And there would be really nothing that we could do about it, because the Federal Reserve is obligated to buy those T-bills back. And so I would strongly really look at things and what you're doing, look at your preps and stuff so that you are on it and do it now. You don't want to be spending a lot of money on equipment or tangible assets or something later on down the road. So the next thing coming up, since the BRICS meeting is over, the next thing that we are looking at is bank failures. It's interesting. We were sitting next to some folks yesterday at lunch, and they were a bunch of bankers, and they were talking about all the bank failures that are coming up. A lot of the small to mid-sized banks are going to start getting to be absorbed. And so even they were talking about it and how that would affect the economy. So I was kind of listening in to what they were saying and stuff, and they were not too pleased. They were kind of, little edgy there. And so it was an interesting conversation to eavesdrop on. But that's the next big thing that we are looking at. Other things that are coming down the pipe right now: potato shortage. We are starting to see more and more of a potato shortage. So what I would strongly suggest is stock up on your potatoes, get those going. Onions are also starting to come up short. I've been seeing several YouTube channels reporting on that. And so again, stock up on onions and everything if you don't have those growing in your garden and things. And then also salt. And I've mentioned this several times already. I'm even here in California, and I can't find kosher salt to save my life. I've been to multiple grocery stores here just checking out prices, and you would not believe the prices that are out here in California. They're just astronomical. I do not understand how people can live here because it is just so stinking expensive. But kosher salt, I have not been able to find kosher salt back in Virginia. I've been looking at grocery stores, and I even, looking at Target, Walmart, and, there's a Target here. And so that's all we got. I've been forced to actually purchase things at Target. I hate to admit that, but it sucks. But even they didn't have any kosher salt. So I'm seeing kosher salt as something that is not on the shelves. So they're not on the shelves here in California. It's been not on the shelves back there where I live in Virginia. And the reason salt is so important is you need salt to not only season and everything, but you use salt a lot in curing as well as some medicinal issues as well. So salt is rather important. When I do get back home, I will check the Costco and Sam's Club and see if I'm able to get kosher salt there. But it's interesting that no matter where I've gone, I have not been able to find kosher salt. So things to stock up on, keep an eye on those things. So thought I'd come in here, talk to you about that. Kind of keep an eye on what China's doing as with their T-bills, because if they dump them, man, it's not going to be a good thing at all. And so, because again, they are the number 2 holder of U.S. debt next to Japan and UK. So again, Japan's number 1, China's number 2, UK is number 3. And so if China dumps, then I would speculate that a lot of the BRICS nations would dump as well. And also, possibly Japan and UK doing some dumping. So serious situations which would cause a hyperinflation event and a cascading event take place. So that's everything, folks. Raymond Mhor, Coffee with Ray here in the Red